Hey, okay. This is going to be a new segment which I'm going to call Steve Areno's Cool Kits Miscellaneous Stuff. Boom, take one. All right. Hey, guys. Back, and there's just a bunch of like miscellaneous stuff I wanted to do a segment on. And I thought, I'm getting ready to do yet another kit. There'll be another video. We'll jump over to that one. But before I go there, I just wanted to talk about what I would call just like miscellaneous basic stuff. So, I mean, that next kit I'm going to do is going to be the 54 Revell 54 Chevy Highboy. This is going to be a second attempt of a kit I tried way back in 1974. And I'm going to talk. Let me just save my comments for that specifically when I get over to this kit. But before we go there, I want to give a big shout out to people who have started mailing me kits to build. Hey, thanks in advance. I appreciate your viewing, and thank you for what I take, I guess, to be a compliment on either how I go about it or what gets produced. But thanks for starting to send me in kits. As I stand back and man, I got a building for years now ahead of me. But thanks, keep them coming. I'll keep building as long as I can keep building. So what I thought I wanted to talk about while I got all this great box art up here on the desk is, let me move my that's my thinking cap. Okay, you guys know my process if you've been following me. I go through my ideation stage and think about what I'm going to do. So that's my thinking hat, and I put that on. I don't know. Hogan's Heroes, Colonel Klink meets Rat Fink, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, there we go. Kind of a limited edition thinking hat, man. I mean, you can go surfing, you can go thinking, you can go to the convention. I mean, it's a all-purpose hat. So let's see. When it comes to box art, man, isn't box art great? I mean, there's so much different kind of box art out there. Um, Starting over here on the left hand side, we've got box art, which is the real pictures of the cars. Let me grab that, put that over here where we can see it a little more directly. Right, we got that one, and then you've got, at first look, you would think, oh, that's like a picture of the model, but no, this the Malco 33 Ohio George, that's a restored car, right? And so it was a special edition kit, and that's cool. And it's so clean looking, you would almost think that's a model, but no. I mean, they give you, this kit has a pamphlet inside which shows the real car, and it's been pristine and restored. And of course, I don't think anybody drove it after it was restored. It just sits in a museum now. But it's a great car, great subject, great looking box art, I think. I mean, it certainly grabbed my attention. And then you've got what I would call artist rendering box art, and it comes in many different flavors. You've got action and static. I guess I'd call it action and static. And action, you've got to have somebody in there. And there's a lot of box art like that, and I love box art. Can't seem to throw any of my boxes away. In fact, I take extra special measure to put plastic around them just to preserve it, so I don't get the picture all scratched up and everything. But I like to just get them out and look at them sometimes. And I mean, it's a whole art thing in itself, right? And I have some comments about art and marketing in a second, but I guess I will because I just had it cross my mind. But anyway, you got this sort of static versions, and those are great too, right? And we look at box art all the time when we're getting ideas about what we're going to do, and of course there's side panel art, and then we come to this last category, which I'm not sure exactly what I thought about it. I mean, I had different thoughts about it as a kid and modeler as I was growing up and stuff. There was a spell where I didn't. I didn't really care for it because I thought, that's just a picture of the actual model, But then, actually, then I changed and I thought that's pretty good because it shows you a benchmark of a reference point about how another person who's a pretty good modeler did when they built it, and maybe you would actually look at it as you go on and mature with a more critical eye, and you'd say, yeah, I can do that plus a little more. But this is certainly what I would call a semi straight out of the box version because it's got all the chrome. Like no offense, I just wouldn't do it that way. I do my 2-part chroming process, but I get it. This is certainly the way to do it, and then that's brush applied chrome around the trim, and this 54 had a lot of trim, so a lot of guys took it all off. A lot of guys do today when they do Restomod one-on-one cars. A lot of guys still leave it on. Both ways look great, and anyway, I can't help it. I look at something, I start immediately having ideas. So anyway, I'm thinking that's going to be my next version. And this kit is like from 1976. I mean, isn't the internet great where we can be in touch with each other and kits can float around and get into the hands of people who might build them, and there were other people who appreciated them, saved them, and didn't want to touch them because they weren't sure, and everything works out, right, the way it's supposed to work out. So there is that. Okay, I'm going to do a cutaway and then we'll come back. Okay, back. Continuing with discussion of miscellaneous stuff. If you've been walking with me, if you're here now, it's because you've been looking at some of my other videos. So, we've got this, which is my process of how I go about it and, the steps. Process is great because process makes things repeatable. And when things are repeatable, you can't manage what you can't measure. You can't manage what you can't measure. And that was taught to me by a great founder of one of the great high-tech companies who I had a privilege to work with. And I love it when you can get truth in 2 words. You can't manage what you can't measure. And so that's important. Now, what's sort of below that, even, or high above that, or below that? I'm not sure. Whichever way you want to do it, above, below, in, out, whatever. But the way, you can think about the world a lot of different ways. But one way I think about it is I have a vision of what I want things to be, and then supporting my vision, getting me between where I am and where I want to be, then becomes bridges, like the strategy, like the hows, like how am I going to get from where I am to where I want to be. And then it's great to have a bridge, but you got to build a bridge. So you got to have specific tactics. And I put a plural here because you can have more than one, and it's best to have more than one. And these are the whats. These things are quantitatives. These are what you do in measuring, the number of things you're going to do. If you want to get in shape, you better run some mileage, do some sit-ups, do some pull-ups, and those are very, specific tactics. Where, your strategy might be you got to get to the gym, you get out on the road, whatever, and, it's because, you want to be in shape and be a better runner. Now, if I'm going to build a model, I go through that ideation, I get a picture, then I think about, how am I going to do it, and then there's a specific things I'm going to do, right? You're already getting a sense that I coach athletes. I do, and you guys know from the past I've talked about being an engineer and an architect and another type of engineer, and I spent most of my life doing this. Okay, most of my life doing this, seeing where we were, getting a picture about where we wanted to be, developing strategies of how we're going to get there, and then breaking it down into quantitative, measurable, daily do's to incrementally get us there.
We had a CO2 filter problem on the limb module.
5 filters on the limb.
Which were meant for 2 guys for a day and a half. So I told the doc,
You're already up to 8 on the gauges. Anything over 15, and you get impaired judgment, blackouts, the beginnings of brain asphyxia.
What about the scrubbers on the command module?
they take square cartridges.
The ones on the limb are round.
tell me this isn't a government operation. Well, I suggest you gentlemen invent a way to put a square peg in a round hole. Rapidly.
Okay, people, listen up. People upstairs handed us this one, and we gotta come through. We gotta find a way to make this fit into the hole for this. Using nothing but that. Let's get it organized.
Okay, let's build a filter.
Better get some coffee going too, someone.
And I talked a second ago about talking about being an artist or a marketer, and I've been both. So I think being that I've been both, I guess I'm qualified to talk about both. You know, I mean, you know, yeah. There was a day when I was sitting on the banks of the, you know, Seine doing watercolors, and over there in the, you know, in Venice doing watercolors, and running around, you know, the Uffizi doing sketches, and, you know, and all in Rialto, and yeah, you know, I was there, you know. So yeah, I've been an artist, and I've been a marketer, and I've been a technologist, and so maybe I'll risk and I'll say both. So my takeaway is that art is creativity without a strategy, and marketing is creativity with a strategy. I want to do something. So, you know, sell some product, man, move some product, right? Or show off some product or whatever. So you do some kind of art, and it's connected to a strategy. Untethered creativity, that's my line of what I call art. And so anyway, I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but you know, it's an opinion, so automatically I'm going to offend somebody. That's my opinion. That's my opinion about me and what I did. Okay, how about that? So now some more miscellaneous stuff. So, you know, we're building model cars, right? And so what I do is before I paint the body, I make sure the body is ready to be painted. So what I've done is I've taken grit sandpapers, wet grit sandpapers of all different grits from what? I start at 400 and I go all the way to 2000. So I start, and I realize you can't read the numbers that are here, but they come out when it gets wet. But once upon a time they were much darker, and then if they get too light, like here's a 400, okay, there's a 800, there's a 1200, 1200, and there's a 2000. And I work my way from the coarse to the fine. Okay, wet sanding the body. And then when I prime it, I wet sand it again. And then when I think it's all like super slick and smooth, guess what? That's when we do final prime, final paint. So these, you know, and this is a make it your own type tool stuff, you know. You know, that's just my carrier, so I always know. I keep stuff together. The other thing too is I talked earlier about having my bin box for when I paint. This is the little brother bin box, and it's for when I just have to dash down to the spray booth and paint a few smaller pieces, and I don't want to carry that big old box and just have a couple pieces in there. So I've got the little brother bin box, and it comes back from time to time in my build and my videos as my finished parts on deck type box. My finished parts on deck type box. So I've got this little brother box here to my big bin box. Yeah, so those are some miscellaneous things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, recapping, you know, I had, you know, talked about box art, which I love. Talked about, you know, what I think's going on, you know, with me. And then I talked about some tools and techniques that I hadn't mentioned before, which you maybe were wondering, how's that guy get those candy finishes? Well, if you're going to do candy finishes, you better be, I mean, this is just part and parcel of that. You know, keep going back to it. No amount of paint fixes stuff that doesn't fit right. So you gotta hang around a body shop. When we're building model cars, go down by, look in a body shop, see what those guys are doing, right? That's where I got this idea. I might go and buy a body shop. And yeah, so I think, you know, modeling, I mean, I've done it all my life, you know, and you know, did it have something to do with being curious and going and studying, Sir Isaac Newton's, contribution with time-based math, and that's called calculus, and then the higher versions of that, differential equations and Laplace transforms and fast Fourier series, that gives you the entry card into the whole world of advanced electronics. Or differential equations, first change of position with respect to time, that's called velocity, second acceleration, and coming back into the world of biomechanics and track and field running, sprinting, maybe, and all that stuff, helping you go into the world of nutrition and molecular biology, where I read a lot. Yeah, maybe too. So it's a poetic world. Everything's connected to everything else, and so let your curiosity be your guide. And keep making contributions. And keep active, I guess, mentally. All right, so that is maybe it for Steve Marino's Miscellaneous Stuff and Ramblings.